Everything you'll ever need to know about percentages in 2 minutes.
Everything the light touches.
Okay, how do I find 32% of 500 without a calculator? Well, 500 is everything I have, so I can say that's 100%. Now I can find 10% by dividing by 10. I can even find 1% by dividing by 10 again. So 50 is 10% and 5 is 1%. Now, to get to 30%, I take my 10% and I multiply by 3. This gives me 150. Now, to find 2%, I take my 1% and I multiply by 2, giving me 10. So to find 32%, I add my 30% to my 2%, giving me 160. But if I have a calculator, it's much easier. Just like with fractions, I'm going to swap my of for a multiplication sign, and I convert my percentage to a decimal, 0.32. Slap that in the calculator and it gives me my 160. Now we know how to do a percentage of a value. We're going to learn percentage increase. Now we know 32% is 160, so we can add that to 500 to make 660. Or 32% at 100% gives us 132%. As a decimal, that's 1.32. So if we have a calculator, we can just do 500 times 1.32. If we're decreasing 500 by 32%, we know that's 500 minus 160, which is 340. And in terms of percentages, that's 100% minus 32%, which is 68%, or 0.68 as a decimal. So I can type in 500 times 0.68, which will give me 340. In compound interest, we look at how much an amount increases or decreases by a percentage over a number of years. 32% we know is 0.32 as a decimal, and if we're increasing, we add 1 to that, making 1.32. So usually we do 500 times 1.32. But because this happens for 5 years, we'd have to multiply by 1.32 5 times.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So instead, just like multiplying by 1.32 twice is squaring, I can do 1.32 to the power of 5. All compound interest questions follow the same general formula. Start value, multiplied by the multiplier, to the power of the number of years equals the end value. This is the general formula you should use for all compound interest questions. If I slap that in the calculator, 500 times 1.32 to the power of 5 gives me 2003.73. And that right there was